Baruchim Habayim. We're in Parashiyot Matot Mas'eh. We have two Parashiyot this week. We have over 240 Pesukim to talk about. As usual, we're probably not going to get past the first Pasuk. It should be mentioned on the tape, Hakarat HaTov to Steve Esh, Balabait is having us today. It should be known to all our listeners in the audio department. Steve Esh heads our tape department. Every week he goes and he's our friend in Borough Park and makes the tapes, and really deserves a lot of credit for that. Of course, the week that we praise him, he doesn't bring this week's tape. Okay, he's doing a good job. We got to thank him for that. Parashat Matot we'll talk about. Okay, right? Last week we said that this week's Parashat is Parashat Matot. Boom, there was 3 questions already. Oh, wait. Last week was a rough one. Parashat Matot talks about Nedarim. Now, this is a personal note. Whenever we get to Parashat Matot, right away, this is my first signal that the holidays are coming. Kippur, Rosh Hashanah, even though it's miles away, who's thinking holidays now? We didn't get to Tisha B'Av. But once you start hearing the word neder, the whole concept of neder, and you start thinking Hatzarat Nedarim, you start thinking on Yom Kippur night, Kal Nidre, the high holidays have a lot to do with Nedarim. Nedarim is a big subject. So this is like the first smell, when you start reading about the Nedarim, the planting the seed in your mind, it's coming. Tonight, it's a simple format of the class. We're not going to make things difficult. We usually do. We're just going to say simple. We're going to quote a pasuk. We're going to quote a midrash on the pasuk. And we're going to try to explain the midrash. Finish. We'll go home. The pasuk says, Ish ki yidor neder l'Hashem. Person who makes a neder to Hashem. Comes the midrash. And the midrash says, Hahu dichtiv Ki lo yodeya ha'adam et rito. That's the whole class. Pasuk says a guy comes and makes a vow to God, neder Hashem. Midrash comes and says, on this we learn a person never knows his time. Ki lo yodeya ha'adam et rito. Ito comes from the word et. Et is a time. Ki lo yodeya ha'adam et rito. Person doesn't know his time. And that's told Midrash. Further, next Midrash. What is it talking about over here? Midrash happens to be fascinating. You can't learn Midrash just zip it. Okay, doesn't make sense. Next. These Midrashim were written by giants. Each rabbi that's quoted in these Midrashim was able to resurrect the dead. They were able to make the Hayat HaMetim. So you're dealing with holy men, the greatest men of our religion. So you got to take these words very seriously. Rav Chida, Rabbi Chaim Yosef David Azulai, the sefer that he wrote called Nahal Kedumim. It's one of over 80 sefarim this rabbi wrote. Over 80 sefarim, imagine that. And in the sefer Nahal Kedumim, it's the Chida's question, what's going on in this midrash over here? God makes a neder to God, that's what it means, because the person doesn't know his time. He says something that, hold on, put your seatbelts on. The ramifications of what he says is frightening. And it's kedai, it's worth it to come all the way over here, sit in a class, hear this Hidush, and we can close it and go home. It's worth it. That's how shocking this Hidush is. What a musar it is. And the more frightening part is it's true. He says, the Pasuk says, Ki yidor neder LaHashem. Puts the word neder first, and then Hashem's name second. telling us that when a person makes a vow, he's supposed to make the vow saying the word neder first and then saying God's name. Ani oseh neder laHashem, then I'm not going to eat apples, whatever it is. Neder comes straight, the word neder first and then Hashem. He compares it to another law. When a person, let's say, brings a korban, it says, Adam ki yakriv korban laHashem. Pasuk says when a person wants a vow on a korban, he should say, I'm bringing a korban to Hashem. Use the word korban first and then the word Hashem. But don't say, I'm going to bring laHashem a korban. Why put the word korban first? What's the difference? Korban laHashem, laHashem korban. So he says, you know why? Because we're worried. What's this? We're worried. He's going to say the word korban. I am going to bring a korban. We're worried that the guy might die after he says the word korban. So if he dies after he says the word korban, okay, nothing. He said the word korban. Anything wrong with saying the word korban? No. But if he would have started saying, I am going to bring laHashem, and then he dies, so he ends up saying God's name in vain. I'm bringing saying the real name of God. Then he dies in between before he can make the official korban. So the guy dying in the middle of a berachah. Baruch atah. So therefore the law is korban lashon. It's the same thing by neder. Pasuk says, Adam ish ki yidor neder laHashem. Say the word neder first, and then God's name. You know why? Because if a guy's going to get up and say, I'm making laHashem a neder, if he says the word laHashem, what's going to happen? He might die. And if we said Shem Shamayim lebatala, he said God's name in vain. Hahu dichtiv ki lo yodeya ha'adam et ito. Nobody knows the times. Nobody knows their time. That's how he explains the Midrash. Make a neder to Hashem. Why neder first? Because you don't know when your time is coming. Shema Yisrael. Isn't that wild? That's scary. Until now you thought, okay, we live day to day. Day to day. Now, okay, you don't want to say day to day. Guy says, okay, you have to take Hashem hour by hour. You know, Baruch Hashem, hour by hour we're living. Then you have another guy, minute by minute. Okay. Come to Chidah and telling you, sorry, that's not the outlook. It's not day by day. It's not hour by hour, minute by minute. You're dealing over here with split seconds. You ever see those watches that the runners have? And they push the thing. Go! You see, 0.463219. It's not even a second. How long does it take to say Neder laHashem? Before you started, it stopped. And they're worried that a guy that a menage die in between, therefore, don't say Hashem's name first. Is that how fallible we are? Is that how serious that it is? That any second, unfortunately, if I read this Hidush 2 years ago, I would have a hard time visualizing it exactly. So really, that's very, very a second, a split second, that's an imaging life and death. But unfortunately, you hear what's going on around in our community. You hear the different stories and the different things that are happening overnight practically. In a matter of seconds. One day the lady's walking in the street, how you doing? Everything's fine. So boom, you're sick, hospital, chemo. What happened? Guys in a concert, enjoy, boom, next thing. It's Neder laHashem. It's a big musad. When I got out of this over here, I shook. You hear this, you shake. You say, wow, it tanui, bidakot, in seconds. So you got to be thankful every second that you have, that you're healthy, that you're here, that you're on earth. You have to Kol neshama tehalel ya. You know what the Gemara says in this pasuk? Kol neshama tehalel ya. That the neshama should praise you, God. Al kol neshima unshima. Don't read the word neshama. Read it neshima. On every breath that you take. Hasdei Hashem. Thank you, Borei Olam. Oh, Baruch Hashem. I can breathe. Oh, Baruch Hashem. Because it's not te'il. That's the way it goes. It just turns in a second sometimes. So you gotta be grateful to what it is. Okay. That's Hida's explanation. And we're going to offer now explanation number 2. Also with very, very serious ramifications. It's not an easy midrash. We're not going to give candy out tonight. It happens to be a little more serious-oriented subject.
Can I just take it one step further?
Let's go.
Then they should making an Idarat Hashem totally not permissible, because odds are you might cook before you could fulfill it.
What? Listen, if that's the case, I hear what you're saying. If that's the case, then you might as well not pray. You might as well never be able to take God's. You have to do something. You have to go the normal way. But now that you're doing it, otherwise you wipe the whole Torah that way. Most of the Torah is discussing God's name and praying and learning and things like that. Now, you got to do it, but once you're doing it, be aware and do it in the most possible way that you won't come to say Shem Shalom Latala. And what's the most possible way? Putting the word neder first. What do you mean? What are the odds? The odds might be remote, but enough to make halakha that neder comes first. The explanation we're going to read tonight is a little different. Human beings are made up of 2 parts. What are the 2 parts human beings are made of? Anybody want to answer this to get on the tape?
Water.
Water? Who said water?
Is it water?
We're not talking now. We're not talking from biology. Right. Neshama and goof. Right. That's right.
I'm on the tape.
But you're brave. Brave for taking it out. You have neshama and goof. We know the goof. The goof we're very familiar with. We're very, very close to the goof. Goof is the physical, the eating, the drinking, the sleeping, the enjoying, the physical pleasures of this world. That's one part of you. The second part of you is the neshama. Because of this 2-part mixture, we'll call it, there's a lot of times that we have ups and downs. Because there's two parts of the body that you have to satisfy. You have to satisfy your guf and you have to satisfy your neshama. So constantly, sometimes you're on the high and sometimes you're on the low. And in religion especially, sometimes you're in the swing. Things are going good. Religion be genuine. You're in a good, good groove, like you said, good. You're at shul in the morning. You got your system. You got your classes. You're going strong. You're eating the right things and you're speaking the right things and you're looking at the right thing. Everything's going good in your sight and you're growing. We call that's aliyah mode. You're going up. It's great to be in that mode. But being the fact that you are not solely neshama, if you were only a neshama, you'd always be flying. Unfortunate or fortunate, however you're looking at it, we're made of goof also. And the goof also wants to have his pleasures in life. And there's a constant civil war going on in your body. Goof, I want charge. And Nishma saying, no, I want to be in charge. So sometimes you have yirida. Sometimes you're on the down mode. Sometimes the goof is in charge. And, you're out of your groove. And you're not in the minyan so much. And if you're in the minyan, your tefillah is not really a tefillah. And you're watching the wrong things. And you're speaking the wrong thing. You're in a rut. And by the way, I'm going to let you know a secret, because many of you don't know this. Every single person, no matter how long or short his beard is, has ups and downs. Just because, you're a rabbi, you wear a hat and you have pair of sasira, you're not immune to this. You got an issue, you got a goof, The greatest hachamim goes through this. I have ups and downs. As long as you're not separate from the goof, it's going to happen. And I'll let you know another thing. Most of the yiridot take place in the summer, by the way. That's just a fact that you can understand. Ask 99% of guys that are sitting and learning in Kollel. I didn't do this, I didn't poll it, but I would guess you ask them in the summer, are you in Aliyah mode or Yiridah mode? Don't Kollel people. I don't know, I'm in Yiridah a little. The whole atmosphere of the summer's a little loose, and the whole world brings you down. Even if you're sitting with the books, people are walking around in their summer wear, and they have their cars, and you hear the music a little, and it's a little more looser atmosphere, so that brings everybody down. Okay, you're normal. You don't gotta start. What am I? That's normal, but you go to a guy. Aseri imet teshuvat. Same guy. What are you now? I'm flying. Kippur, right after Kippur, there's the guy where he is. Forget, I'm on the moon. Aliyah mode. So we feel in ourselves that we go through stages during the year. The trick is the trick. Good advice. You have to try to take advantage of when you're escalating. You gotta try to save that moment, or those moments, and try to freeze it, and put it in your pocket, in order that when you get to the down mode, you're able to still have some of that gasoline from the upswing. It's like, a guy who goes to a mountain and he's watching a beautiful sunrise. So there's two type of guys. One guy watches the sunrise, he's looking at it. Okay, he saw it, finished, next. Another guy says, speech ending. When am I going to ever be 4,000 feet on the mountain? He gets his moving camera. I gotta say this. He videos it, he takes still pictures, he's got everything. Now, anytime he wants to remember that, take the video out, look at the pictures, look at the sun, he's got every phase. He throws the moment. So, a lot of times in religion, we're very psyched, you're in it, beauty. Now, that feeling is not going to always last. Sometimes you get into a slump. So you got to try to take out the pictures from when you were rolling. How do you do that? How do you crystallize that situation? You got what trying to do it? Okay. Example is given of a Israeli general going to visit his friend, his companion that's in the hospital. Ben Menan, the guy in the hospital, is dying of lung cancer. Israeli general puts his cigarettes in his pocket before he goes in. He goes into the hospital. He sees his friend sitting there. He sees the charts. He hears what the doctors are saying. The guy is better than that. It's fatal, lung better. And he's talking to the doctors, the guy, the general. He says, what do you think did this to him? There's no question about all that smoking. Guy smoked a pack a day. Forget it. For 20 years already. That's what's putting him in. This is smoking. Now, the general at that moment, he sees the guy, with his eyes in front of him. He sees the doctor there. He makes a resolution in his mind that no more smoking. That's it. That was my last cigarette. That's it. Cold turkey. I want no from cigarette. Takes the stuff in his pocket, throws it in the garbage. Baal teshuvah. No more smoking. And he comes the first couple of days, Hadid, he's strong, beauty, so on. A week later, 2 weeks later, already the image faded a little. He cooled down a little. He's not so. Okay, gets into it one here, one there. What? By 2-3 weeks later, the guy's back at his old ways already. Like what he saw never happened. Now that unfortunate situation. Wow, what an idiot! What a fool! The guy was. We really can't talk about that guy. We are that guy. That's us in religion. How many times do we come to a class and we get so inspired, and the guy in the class, he screamed and he yelled and he did everything he could do to light the match, and you're psyched, and you come out, and what a class, what it could be Jannah. You're in it. And a couple of days later, okay, what did the rabbi speak about? I forgot, I forgot the point. What happened? You walked out of there on fire. What did you do about it? What did you do about it? Especially these type of classes. These type of classes fall into the category of like pep talk. This class, and I always say, it does not have a purpose in itself. Meaning just to come on a Wednesday night to hear a nice idea, a nice parable, a nice thought, a little mental gymnastics, you get your brain working a little, have a little snapple, make a beracha. That's great. But there's obviously more to the class. You get your musad, wow, nice thought, great idea. Okay, next. Let's go home, let's go to sleep tomorrow morning. The purpose over here is to ignite a match, ignite a fire, and then you take it to wherever you want to take it. You go further. It's like the guy that gets in a new car, they give him the keys, it's filled with gas, he can't wait, beauty, gets in his car, turns it on, Jay sits back, he sits there for 20 minutes. So they're looking out the window, so it's the guy, he's dancing, he's clapping. So they knock on the window, he opens the window. They go, what are you doing? It's great! Love it! Look at the guy! Leather seats! I said, well, you're gonna go? That's it? He said, no. Wait, I'm waiting for the big thing. 5 minutes later, he starts honking the horn. He honks the horn 5-6 times, closes the car, he walks out. That was what an experience. What a car! By the way, he missed the whole point over there. Yeah, it drives, it goes, you gotta make the... Oh, I didn't know that. And a guy, imagine, does that 10 times, he's a fool. That's exactly a guy that comes to a class, he gets in the car, he's psyched, listening to the Hadush, everything. The motor's running, you're in it. All you gotta do now, what? Put in drive. That's what you're missing. And, of course, the teacher cannot, put the people in drive. That's up to the guy who's driving the car. All the teacher can do is set you up, build the car for you, get you in it, sit down, put you behind the wheel. Now go drive. There's not enough just to honk the horn. So somebody might be thinking, we're going to come to class and we have to change? That is exactly, you gotta know that the guy might have to change. And if a guy looks at him, so I've been coming to Wednesday night classes for 2 years. But I'm the same I get. I learned just as much as I did when I came to the first class. And I do this just as much and this not as much, and facts, I got a lot of facts. I got a lot of yidiot. Now, of course, we don't judge a guy by his facts. Encyclopedia also has a lot of facts. Britannica is very smart. And a guy can have the whole Torah on his computer, by the way. They have that today. You can put in a couple of this, you got every pasuk and every... Now, are you going to stand up when the computer's in the room? Are you going to put the computer in Aron HaKodesh? Are you going to kiss the computer? Why? It's got the whole Torah. Because it has it in theory, but it's not in practice. It's not in drive. No one's acting upon it. Understand what's going on? Okay. And let me tell you something else. The way you save the moment, one way is making a neder. Let me speak clearly. We don't want anyone walking out here making nedarim. We today in our age don't make nedarim. We try not to make. We try to say Billy neder. I'll explain you why later on why you don't make nedarim today. But neder is one way to act upon the moment. You're psyched, you're in it, Boom, make a neder. I'm going to do this now. I'm going to go to shul every morning. Neder. When a guy says something, it binds him. Nobody wants to go back on their word. When a guy makes a resolution, he wants to keep it. There's a big urge in the person not to make himself look like a weakling, not to make himself look very, very weak in the sense that he can't keep his word. So that's a great way to bind yourself. I want to lose 5 pounds. Finish. Once a guy makes that resolution, he wants to prove it to himself and he'll do anything to keep that word. Neder is the same type of thing. Now, of course, and this is discussed also many times, the resolutions that a person is going to make in those times where he's on a escalated mode, hopefully you're going to be neshama related. You always look at the difference between what the goyim accept upon themselves before their holidays, and look what the Jews accept upon themselves. A goy, regular guy in the street, before January 1st comes, they interview him. New Year's resolution. What are you? I'm going to improve my golf swing this year. Okay, that's a very, very, very profound, resolution. Very meaningful, yeah. And you have another guy that will say, this year I'm making a resolution that, whatever, silly things that don't mean anything. I'm going to lose 3 pounds, lose 5 pounds. A Jew, on the other hand, when he's making resolutions, they're not to do with the goof. The Jews' resolutions are all neshama related. With this, you can start to explain. Picture the scene. You have a great, great, great rabbi that comes and makes an announcement. Rabotai, I have something unbelievable to say. Something that the whole world has to know. And we're going to make the speech on the following day. I don't want you all to be there with your children and your wives. And they make a big to-do about it. And everyone gets together and they come and have it via satellite across the whole world. And they're all waiting. What earth-shattering remarks does this rabbi have to say? The rabbi gets up in front of everybody and says a very basic principle, a very simple thing. And they're all standing watching. This is what he shook the whole world for. This is 1 + 1 = 2. Okay, we know that already. It's a big letdown. Comes a Maharal and asks a bomb question. He says, Hashem Yitbarach comes to Moshe Rabbeinu, gather the people, let them prepare for 3 days, let them prepare mentally, let them prepare physically, go to the mountain, let them fence off the mountain, no animals can come close to Har Sinai, I want the whole place there, the children. And B'nai say, Hashem's going to come talk to us. What is he going to say? And it's an unbelievable moment. Har Sinai, the day of Matan Torah, and they see Shekhinah, and it says, even the animals the dog was afraid to bark. The chicken was afraid to make it sound because it was such an awestruck in there. And B'nai Yisrael is standing on the foot of the mount. What is Borei Olam going to tell us? They reach such a high level at that time. And Hashem gets on the mount. Lord, tignov. Don't steal. Steal. That's what we're doing over here. Made a whole big to-do to tell us don't steal. Let's hear the next one. Lo tirsach. Don't kill. We know that already. Don't kill. We didn't have to make a whole Matan Torah. Don't kill. You know what Borei Olam was doing? Yeah, they want a great level. They're very high level. But Borei Olam knows that you don't always remain on that high level. So while they were on that high level, he tells them simple things. But he told them the punishment that they're going to get for stealing. And the punishment they're going to get for killing. And the punishment they're going to get for being jealous. And the punishment they're going to get for false testimony. And all the different avonot. Respect your parents. This is the reward. This is the punishment. So even when they would fall from their level, they'll remember, on that day Hashem came down and spoke to us and gave us the punishment. And sometimes by knowing the punishment and the seriousness of something simple is a way to keep a guy in line. Like a policeman. If it wasn't for the policeman, the Gemara says, people would swallow each other up. You need that fear. So that's why Borei Olam came and told us simple things, even though we were on a high level, because you knew you don't always remain on a... Sometimes Lo Tignov is simple to you. Certain times of the year. And other times of the year, Lo Tignov becomes not so simple to you. But if you make a big to-do about it, and you psych yourself up when you're on a high, you take the picture, okay, now you're on a low. Let's take out that picture of Matan Torah. What happened on that day? Wow, Hashem came down and said, Lo Tignov, but punishment, that's scary. And who knows if you're ever going to get that feeling again. Anytime you get a feeling of hitorerut, of awakening, it's a gift from God. And it's written in the books in Shamayim, this guy is going to get 46 awakenings in his lifetime. Whatever the number is. But there's a number. And if you get awakened, you got to know, I'm using one up. Now one less, they cross it off the other. We gave him another shot. Hashem's patient. He'll give a person a couple of shots, a couple of swings. But realize that each swing that you don't grow from, you wasted it. Which means in Shamayim, after 120, they say, well, listen, we gave you 43 underhand pitches. Right? We gave you nothing. You could have hit those, you could. But your batting average is 143. 46 pitches, you should have 46 home runs. Under it. So you didn't take it, you didn't swing. You were too lazy, you didn't take the bat off your shoulder. You might have said, wow, what a great pitch. That's not enough. Swing the bat. Hit the ball. So when you get an awakening, you go, something's going on here. Time to move. Now you can go and understand the Midrash. I'm not finished yet. Continue it. Now we'll go back to the Midrash. Ish ki yidor neder la'Hashem. A person makes a neder to God. Ahu dichtiv ki lo yodei ha'adam et oito. Nobody knows their time. You never know that second, when that second of awakening is going to come. You never know when the next one is going to come. Therefore, when it does come, make a neder. Do something positive. Make an action to save the moment. You never know when the next awakening is going to come. Got the pishat, Eddie?
Very good.
Okay, good, thank you. Elisha. Elisha was a great prophet. How does Elisha become a great prophet? Borei Olam goes to Eliyahu Navi. You heard of Eliyahu Navi? Yeah? Eliyahu Navi comes to Elisha. Elisha's in the field. Elisha's plowing one day. God says, go to him, make him a prophet. Elisha's father was very wealthy, from a rich family. Plowing the field one day. Pasuk says, Eliyahu comes, gives him a signal that it's time for you to come with me, and he gave him his cloak. Rabbis explained giving the cloak was a hint to Elisha that just only the Navis wore the cloak. He was telling him, if you come with me, you become a Navi, I'm going to make you a great man. Pasuk immediately. Vayazov et habakar. He leaves the cattle. Vayarot zahare Eliyahu. I'm going. I'm in. Now, you can imagine what goes through Elisha's mind. I'm with my father here. We're making a lot of money. We're very accepted, we're very rich, we have a lot of kavod. I gotta leave my father's house, I have to leave I have to go, not such an easy, who am I going with? A prophet, Eliyahu Navi, what? I'm settled, I'm established. Elisha, they're giving him a moment there. They're giving him the pitch, go. You're gonna swing, Elisha, or you're gonna take it? What does Elisha do? I'm going. He knows the right thing. Eliyahu Navi comes and says, let's go. You don't think twice, you swing, you go. He took advantage. Now, imagine if Elisha would have told Eliyahu, I can't go. It's too hard. My family, everything. You wouldn't even know Elisha who he was today. Elisha the farmer. Big deal. And Elisha would come after 120 years and tell him, Elisha, you were supposed to be in Navi. What? I plant tomatoes. Navi? Yeah, you remember this? I gave you Eliyahu. That was it. That was your calling. You missed it. Oh. But Elisha's a smart man. It said once he heard Eliyahu Navi telling him to come, he knew this was it. But he knows Yetzer Hara is going to gas him. So what does he do? He went and took salt. And he poured salt all over his field. He planted salt in his field. Why? Once you plant salt, that's it. The field's killed. He didn't even want to be connected and have a test to go back to the field. Kill it, no more field. He planted salt. You know what grew from that salt? One of the greatest prophets in our history grew from that field. Ben Menan, if he wouldn't have, he would have buried himself in that karka. That's someone that took advantage of his call at the moment. Gemara Sanhedrin talks about a person, Palti ben Laish. Gemara speaks very, very, very highly of this person. Ve'at alita kulana, ze Palti ben Laish. You're the best. Palti ben Laish. You heard of it? That he's the best. Gemara tells us how Shaul HaMelech gave Palti ben Laish his daughter to marry together. Palti ben Laish knew that Shaul's daughter was engaged to David HaMelech. It was a Kiddushin to David HaMelech already. So the rabbis explain how Palti ben Laish was together with this lady for years, but never, ever touched her, never did anything. They wasn't allowed that's a very big sacrifice. It's very hard to control. A guy who really illegally married, but he held that she's really engaged to David, so therefore, according to Halacham Nala, he could have rationalized the whole thing. Shaul gave it to me, he's the king, he knows. And they say, what was his greatness? Because in the beginning, when this happened, he understood that if he takes this lady, it's very big issue. So you know what he did? He took a sword out and he stuck it in the middle of his bed. He said, if I sleep with this lady, I deserve to get slain by the sword. And that's what, if you walked into Palti ben Laish's house, you see a sword smack in the middle of his bed. And the rabbi, that was a great move. You know why? Palti ben Laish knows himself. He felt in the beginning, yeah, it's asur. But to tell myself that it's asur is not enough. I have to do an action. So even years later, when he might have got cooled off, he would look at that sword and say, wow, there was a time where I felt so strong about the isur that I stuck a sword in my bed and said I should die from the sword if this happened. So that was a method of keeping him. That was the picture. You got it. That's the snapshot of how he was at the time. That's a great thing. There was a man called Yekum Ish Sedorot. Yekum Ish Sedorot is the nephew of Rabbi Yosef ben Yoezer, great rabbi from Gemara. mentioning the first Perek of the Kavod to be Yosef and Yoezef. Yekum Iserorot is riding his horse on Shabbat. Bad guy. His uncle, Rabbi Yosef, is being taken on a horse to be killed by the enemy. So Yekum bumps into his uncle and he smiles and says, "Uncle!" Religious uncle, right? He says, "Look at your horse and look at my horse." Meaning, look where I'm going. I'm going to enjoy here. And look at you, religion your whole life and everything, and look where your horse is taking you. They're going to go kill you now. So the Rabbi Yosef looks at Yekum. You can imagine a bad guy. You see your uncle going to get killed. Instead of, "Hey, I Hazid, I feel bad, say Tehillim," nothing. Look where you're going, look where I'm going. In the last moment, he's digging. So the Rabbi Yosef looks at him and says, if this is how God treats the ones that anger him, imagine how he's going to treat the ones that keep his word. And if this is the way God punishes the ones who keep his word, imagine how he's going to punish the people that don't keep his word. And the Gemara said that those words of Rabbi Yosef entered Yekum's skin like the bite of a snake, like the poison of a snake. Boom, it penetrated him. Immediately he jumped off his horse. And he performed on himself the form he taught Bet Din. Sikila, Sinefa, Henek, Vahenek, don't ask me how. But he fulfilled form he taught Bet Din on himself. Became like the biggest Baal Teshuvah in history. And the Rabbi Yosef dozed off for a moment. And he saw in a dream that Yekum Iserorot went straight to Olam Haba. So he gets up, Rabbi Yosef, and says, "B'sha'a kala kidemani ze legan ha'eden." In a small amount of time, he beat me to Gan Eden. Look at that. Yekum Iserorot on the horse, they gave him his pitch. Yekum could have made a joke. You know what you're talking about. Finish, strike today, you're out. That was it. And Yekum hit a grand slam home run. Yekum took it, boom, he went all the way with it. It's the power of a second. It's the power of that hit orderut. It's the power of that awakening. You could fly with an awakening. Don't belittle that feeling. Don't take it lightly when you have that psyche in you. It's a serious situation. They're talking to, God's talking to you. He's telling, let's go. It's like you're getting a prophecy. He goes, move, let's go. Blow on the whistle, move. And look at this midrash from Megillat Ruth on Shavuot this year. I bought a midrash on Ruth. I'm going to read a little midrash Ruth. I never went through it. And wow, what I found in here. We've got to give classes just on this midrash over here on Ruth. It's fantastic stuff. Listen to this. It gives you a story of Elisha ben Avuyah. Elisha ben Avuyah was the rabbi of Rabbi Meir. You know, the famous rabbi that the Gemara says also rode a horse on Shabbat. While Rabbi Meir is following and learning Torah from it, is Elisha on the horse on Shabbat. Imagine that. Rabbi Meir had a rabbi that drove a car on Shabbat. Gemara says, how did he do it? Rabbi Meir is different. Rabbi Meir knew how to sift out the good from the bad. But Rabbi Meir is the only one in history who knew how to do that. And doesn't give you a heter now to go start finding some reform genius. And so, Rabbi Meir did it, I can do it. Rabbi Meir is Rabbi Meir. In any event, the Midrash wants to know, how did he go off the path? What was the knocker that knocked Elisha out of the box? Listen, if Rabbi Meir is learning from him, that means Elisha knows his beans. Elisha knows how to learn. So what happened? It's like the rabbi learning Gemara Shabbat, smoking a cigarette on Shabbat. He's learning Gemara Shabbat, or really smoking. That's Elisha. So the Midrash asks the question, Mehekan Hayala, where did this come from? What's this? Amru, Ha'am Achat Haya Yoshev, one time Elisha was sitting, Vishone, and he was learning. Bibikat Ginosar. In the valley of Ginosar, it's next to the Kinneret. If you go to Tiberias, the Kinneret, that area over there. Sitting and learning. V'ra'a Adam Echad, with Shabbat, he saw a guy, she'ala l'rosh ha'tekel, climbed up a tree on Shabbat, v'natal ha'em ala banim. He went, we have a mitzvah. When you see a nest, you have to shoo the mother and take the chicks. This guy did the exact opposite. Climbed the tree on Shabbat, which is asur. He took the mother and shooed and kissed the eggs, everything backwards. V'yarad b'shalom, he came down, nothing. Walked down the tree, nothing happened to Mijanin. B'motzei Shabbat, Saturday night, he sees something else. Ra'a Adam Acher, he saw another guy. She'ala l'rosh ha'dekel, climbed up a tree Saturday night, waited till Shabbat's over. V'natal ha'banim, he took the chicks, shooed the mother, v'shalach ha'ta'em like he's supposed to. V'yarad, he came down, v'kishon nahash, a snake came right away, 2 seconds later, bit him, v'mit, he died on the spot. Amar, says, Ketiv, the Pasuk says, Shaleach teshalach et ha'em v'et ha'banim tikachlach leman yitavlach v'ha'alachta yamin. Then if you fulfill this mitzvah, you get long life. Hechan tuvo shel zeh v'hechan arichut yamim shel zeh. Where's his long life? Where's the goodness? That was his death. He died in a second. Elisha's got a big question on God. From that question, that was the beginning of his downfall, the Midrash says. He saw something that was a little strange. When he saw the guy eat a pig sandwich, the guy didn't die on the spot. I mean, pig, but we're thinking, forget it, no, things are sketchy. Especially here, it says you get a long life. How could it be? So that's a sketch. Now that's the clincher. V'lo yada. Elisha didn't know. Shederasha Rabbi Akiva b'sibura. That Rabbi Akiva answered this question one day in the shi'ur in public. Leman yitavlach be'olam shekulo tov. In the world that is eternally good. Olam abad. Be'ha'arachta yamim. You'll have long days. Le'olam shekulo aroch. In the world that's eternally long. You missed what Rabbi Akiva said, Elisha. You didn't go to the shi'ur. Look at that. Our rabbis tell us that when you go to a class and you hear certain things, it's not by coincidence. God will put you in a place. Of course, you have to make the first step to go. But when you're there, God will see to it that the items that are spoken, you'll need to hear that. Maybe not that night, but you'll have more of that information. It'll come in handy. There's never a time when you do a mitzvah or come to a class where it's not going to come in handy one day. If you paid attention, you got the point. Hashem wanted you to hear it. So anyone who's sitting in this room tonight has to hear this. You were handpicked to hear this Hidush over here. So there's a reason. Now, Elisha, Rabbi Akiva is giving a class to the Sibur. Why wasn't Elisha on the class? Elisha was probably learning somewhere. I noticed Hidushim, right? I'm going to go sit in the back. I don't got to go to Rabbi Akiva's class. Look at that. Look what happened. Elisha, the learner, the everything. He just missed one class of Rabbi Akiva. Because of that class that he missed of Rabbi Akiva, that was his downfall. The 1 second hidush that he was supposed to hear that he didn't because he didn't go to the class would have affected his life totally different. When he would have seen that snake bite the guy, he would have said, oh yeah, Rabbi Akiva, we got it. We understand it. I heard it in this shiur, yeah, Rabbi Akiva said it. But once already he didn't understand and he had the questions on God, and boom. So you don't know the ramifications of a guy that has a set class. He said, tired, I'm not going to go tonight. You don't know the ramifications. Maybe that night you were supposed to hear something that was prepared for you, and because you're not going to hear it, it's going to affect your whole life. Elisha, probably when he went to Olam Haba, if he regretted one thing was, oh, I wish I would have went to the Rabbi Akiva shiur that they would have heard that I do.
Should have the thing,
And I'll tell you something else. You mentioned that, Joe. I'll tell you something on that. You can't compare it live in the tape. You gotta know that. Just like you can't compare the sunrise that you saw with your own eyes to the video, even, or to the picture. It's different. Right, you see it. You see it coming out. Matan Torah, if you're there at the mountains, you be Jannah. You read it in the Chumash. Even if you have the Bible story with the picture, it's not Matan Torah. There's a big difference if you're at the mountain. We're at the mountain. To show you how sometimes you're at the right place at the right time. I heard a story this week when a rabbi said it. It's a cute story. There was a certain rabbi who used to make a speech every Shabbat. He used to get hundreds of people to come. He used to give fire and brimstone, very strong speech every Shabbat. True story. He said his name, Rabbi Klein. So, one Shabbat it was snowing and it was blizzard. And the rabbi's, like a soldier. Gotta give my class, gotta give my speech. He goes to the shul, opens the shul up, nobody's there. No, got one guy. So I said, I don't care. I prepared my shiur. I prepared the speech. I'm going to make my speech. He gets up at the podium. Nobody's sitting there, nothing. He gets up. The Perash says, and the question, and the answer. And he's into it. He's speaking. He's very... And nobody's there. And he speaks for an hour. What a musab. What a thing he gave. But to the walls. After an hour of speaking... Some irreligious bum gets up from the ladies section and says, Rabbi, I said I'm about this What? Who are you? And he says, Rabbi, I'm an irreligious guy. I don't keep nothing. I do zero. It was snowing. So I said, where am I going to go for refuge? I said, I'll go in the shul. I'll sleep in the ladies section. I'm sleeping in the ladies section. All of a sudden, I hear some guy start giving, speaking. I said, what, the guy speaking. There's nobody here. What? All right, let me listen to. So you woke me up from my sleep. I listened to what you had to say. I bought it. I'm in. Sign me up. Imagine that. That guy went to sleep in the shul, the rabbi says the words, boom. They threw him the pitch in the middle of the shul. He could have said, I'm sleeping, I'm gonna go put the pillow on his ears more, cover it up. No, it's Mishnun over here speaking to the wall, like I'm listening to this guy. So the guy speaking, here's what we got to say. That was his thing, that was the swing. Let me listen to what he has to say. Hashem took over. He heard everything he had to say, found Teshuvah on the spot. You have to react. You just can't let it go by. It's interesting to note at the end of the Pirashah, Mator, it says, Ve'et Bil'am ben Be'or haregu be'harif. Bil'am ben Be'or, Ma'ashemo, that guy who tried to curse us, the guy who killed 24,000 of us with his scheme with the Benot Midian. Pasuk, one liner. Bilam ben Beor died during the war with a herev. So the rabbi said, what's the significance of that? Okay, we know Bilam eventually is going to die. Why are you making such a... Bilam ben Beor dies with a herev, like a pasuk special for that. So the rabbis explain like this. Bil'am, if you were to ask him, who's the main religion? Jews. We know that. Is there Olam Haba, Bil'am? Surely. How do you get there? Keep the mitzvah, Torah. You know everything, Bil'am. What's the proof? Bil'am says, Tamot nafshi mot yesharim. I want to die a righteous person. I want my end to be like this. He was jealous of the Jewish lifestyle. We said 2 weeks ago he was jealous of the Sinirut. He was jealous of everything. He knew the right thing in his mind. Bil'am saw it, he understood it, he was awakened. But Bil'am was just theoretical. Bil'am felt, I could be like Yekumi Sidorot. In 1 second at the end of my life I'll get psyched and, all you need is one awakening. Okay, so when Hashem throws me a pitch later on in life, let me enjoy life first. Let me do what I want to do. Then later on, when I'm a little older and Hashem gives me an awakening, I'll jump it. Okay, I'll take it. He was banking on that 1 second awakening that will come later on. You know what the Pasuk comes and says? Bil'am ben Be'or dies suddenly with the Hedef. Hedef's a sword. Middle of the wall, boom, kill Bil'am, boom, you're out. He died very young. Bil'am was banking, I'll have time, I'll wait for the pitch. You blew it. You had all your pitches already, there was no more. He thought they're going to still give him. Bil'am's out. He dies, in theory, without any ma'aseh. Pasuk says, V'yada'ta hayom v'ashevotai lebabecha. You have to know today, and then bring it to your heart. It's 2 steps. V'yada'ta, you got to know the law, know the facts, but just to know the facts, it's worthless. Next, and bring it down. Bring it to the ma'aseh, bring it to the heart. Rabbi Salanta says, the Yetzer Hara has no problem on the V'yada'ta hayom. The opposite. Yitzhak would rather you know the laws. You know why? Because if you know the laws and don't keep it, it's worse. So he wants you to know. V'yada'ta, go to class, learn. He won't stop you. You know where he gets you? Stage 2. Acting on what you know. That's already, we don't need guys like that. The knowledge is the easy part. It's the action that's the hard part. We'll just end with the last piece of advice. When you finally get awakened, when you hear a musar, when you go to that class, you say, you know something? I gotta learn more. That's it. He psychs you up for Torah. And now you're ready to make that move. You have to first make a calculation. What can I handle? What am I going to be able to keep? In making resolutions, it's no big hadush for a guy who's 400 pounds to get, I want to lose 300 pounds. That's easy to talk like that, but that's not such a realistic goal that a guy can set for himself. You tell a 400 pound guy, go for 5 pounds. 5 pounds? It's in reach. People have lost 5 pounds. Okay, take the 5 pounds. Victory, he loses 5 pounds. You did good. You said something, you did it. Okay, next step. You have a better shot of going 5 pounds than saying 300. 300, you're probably not going to do it, and then you're going to get discouraged, and you give up hope, and you end up 500 pounds 2 weeks later. So you're worse than you started off because you bit off more than you can swallow. Understand what we're saying over here? So it is a trick. You have to know, you got to be moving up, you got to be growing, but in stages. Yetzer Hara will like to come to you dressed as a long rabbi with a beard. No, you gotta do more. Because he knows the sketch. He wants you to come out. That's it. I'm going to learn every day. 10 hours. That's it. I'm going to. Because he knows that lasts for 3 days. If the guy will come out of class saying, I have to learn 15 minutes every day Torah, he knows that might stick. That might work. I gotta go to 1 class more a week. I have to start praying 1 more tefillah with minyan. He knows that might stick. That's easy. So he tells you gotta go every minyan, vetikim. Okay, vetikim guy goes 3 days, he falls out next. Oh, but do nothing. The opposite, you feel bad, I'm not able to do it, it's not for me to religion, boom. Now you start, going the other way. So you gotta be careful of that religious Yetzer Hara that doesn't want you to get a base hit. He wants you to hit the ball, but then get thrown out of third. No, sketch feeling. Oh, I gotta hit Yudi, I'm going up. Boom, nailed, out, you're out of it. It's like temporary. You don't want to hit, you want to beat it, finish. You want to score again. Ki lo yodeya ha'adam et ito. Midrash is teaching us tonight, you don't know when that second is going to come. Chida explained it. You don't know when that second of deathbed minyan is going to come. Come anytime. Right? The second explanation, you never know when the pitch is going to be swung. It's going to be pitched. You never know when you're up at bat, Rabotai. You never know which awakening is going to be the course. Which class is going to do it. Hey guys, I'll tell you, I went to this class, it turned my whole life around. And his friend says, I was contemplating to come, I didn't come. Boom, world of difference. One guy's in a lava bar, another guy's in a... What happened? 1 second, one move. Ruth tells us, her mother-in-law, Naomi, I'm coming, or Pa says, I'm going. One decision. Ruth ends up bringing Mashiach, or Pa ends up bringing Goliath, and all of this stuff. One move. I'll just end what Rav Chaim Brim used to tell us. He says a guy gets off the Verrazano Bridge, or a bridge, whatever. There's 2 roads. Right next to each other. One goes this way, one goes that way. So you just make the wrong turn, but it's a matter of an inch. You make the wrong turn, this guy ends up in Chicago, and this guy ends up in New Jersey. He just made that one wrong turn, he kept on going on that road. The difference at the time was only a little, you go this way, that exit, this exit, nothing. But that mistake, forget about it. You want to know where I go off? Yeah, when I turned left, that was the whole mistake. So therefore, you got to remember, you have to get awakened and take advantage of the way. Okay, only 241 more Pesukim to go. Baruch Adonai Le'olam. Amen.